So I'm currently experiencing a pretty bad anxiety episode right now. I'm kind of fighting off a panic attack. And I've never really gotten like evidence of it while it was happening before. And I thought that this might help someone. And I thought maybe I could see if I could talk myself out of it. In the last half hour, just kind of started spiraling, and it just is snowballing a little bit, and I have a really hard time getting myself out of these places. And sometimes my method would be to let myself hit bottom and then pull myself out, but I'm trying to stop it where it is, so that it might be a little bit easier to pull myself out. My anxiety manifests in a lot of physical symptoms, which is really scary because I have a hard time differentiating what of my physical sensations are in my mind and what are real, because my anxiety creates so many physical sensations. And so I get a little bit of a difficulty swallowing. It's an automatic bodily process, but for some reason, when I'm feeling really anxious, my brain wants to make it a voluntary process, and my brain wants to think about it. It wants to control when I swallow, and this sometimes leads to doing that too much, and I can sometimes go numb and it feels like I can't swallow, which is really scary. So right now my throat is feeling a little tight. I'm feeling some tightness in my chest. I am having pretty severe brain fog, which I think is kind of a protective mechanism, basically. And my therapist has said that when your brain is in overdrive, when my brain is in overdrive, it just kind of shuts off and it's like, hey, I'm done for the day. Like this is not working. I'm not gonna do this anymore. Like I'm peacing out. So my brain just kind of shuts off and stops working, which helps with the overthinking, but it makes it hard to do like normal functions. My cat is scratching his face on my camera. Hi, honey. Hi, come here. No? Okay. What I usually do to cope with these is I do kind of sensory deprivation, and I'll sit in my closet, or sometimes I'll lay under my bed, or I'll sit in a bathtub, which freaks people out sometimes. But it's what works for me, and I've had to explain that to people. When I go and sit in the bathtub, like I'm pretty good at knowing what I need in the moment. One of the hardest and most effective things that I can do for this in this moment is have some radical acceptance, which is just kind of to let a feeling or a thought go by without qualifying it, without assigning any labels to it, without having any judgment about it, just experiencing it, acknowledging it, and letting it pass when it does pass, not necessarily doing anything to make it pass any faster. And this is extremely difficult. This is something that I am continuously working on, because just having anxiety in itself, it makes radical acceptance really hard, because I feel the need to act or speak on most of the hard thoughts that pop into my brain. And so to just feel them and not do anything about them is difficult. I'm working on it. And I'm trying to accept the fact that this feeling will pass, and I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. And I saw some things on social media today that made me get this feeling that I needed to do better in my life and help more people, and I felt like I'm not doing enough for others, and I just kind of get to a what is the grand plan kind of place, which is never a good place for me to be. And so I'm trying to accept the fact that I have had this thought before, I will have this thought again. It is what my mind goes to whenever I'm feeling uncertain. It is always what comes up when I'm feeling uncertain, and that's okay. And it'll go away. It usually takes no more than a few days for it to go away on its own, and I just need to sit with it until then. And I try to pair that with some somatic exercises, because sometimes I feel a disconnect between my body and my mind, and that's why I get so scared about my physical symptoms, is because I have a hard time knowing what's connected to my mind and what my body is producing on its own. And so I usually do some tapping. I try to have like some kind of pressure, or I like rub my arms. This is kind of a go-to. Sometimes I hug my cat, or I just listen to his heartbeat or his purring, something else to focus on. So actually talking about this has been very helpful. But I just wanted to share this in case anyone else was experiencing something similar. It doesn't hurt to talk about it, even if you're just talking to yourself. I think radical acceptance is a really worthwhile thing to start practicing and implementing if you're someone who struggles with anxiety or panic attacks. I definitely talked myself down a little bit just making this video, so yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better. And I didn't get to the point of crying, so I will consider that successful.